I'm trapped in an elevator filling with water. 4 months pregnant, pounding on doors while my husband floods the entire building to kill the men who touched me. He's outside the shaft. I'm inside drowning. Our baby is somersaulting in panic. The water is chest high, and I can hear him screaming through the walls that he can't stop it. The system is automated. He chose revenge over rescue. The elevator lurches to a stop between floors 17 and 18 of the Whitmore Tower, and that's when I hear it. The hissing. Water sprays from the ventilation grate above my head, cold and pressurized, hitting my face like tiny needles. I press the emergency button once, twice, 10 times. Nothing. The panel is dead. Everything is dead. My phone shows no signal this deep in the building's core. The water is already pooling around my ankles, rising faster than should be possible. My 4-month belly tightens with a Braxton Hicks contraction. Stress, fear, my body's warning that something is terribly wrong. I pound on the metal doors until my palms bruise, screaming for help that won't come. Through the crack between doors, I see darkness. The entire floor is flooded. The sprinkler system, the fire suppression tanks. Something has been triggered on every level at once. Then I hear him, Drazen's voice, muffled through steel and concrete, raw with panic. "Thessaly, I'm coming, hold on." But there's something else in his tone, something that makes my blood freeze colder than the water now climbing past my knees. He knows. He knows why this is happening. The water rises to my thighs, and my baby kicks hard against my rib cage, sensing my terror. I tilt my head back as the water reaches my chest, and that's when I understand. My husband flooded this building to trap the men who humiliated me at the gala. He locked down every exit, disabled every pump, turned 23 floors into a drowning chamber. He just didn't know I was inside. Hi, my beautiful family. Thank you so much for sticking around and showing me so much love and support. You have no idea how much it means to me. Listen, if you're already hooked on today's story and you can't wait to hear what happens, and I know you can't wait because this one is wild, then do these two things right now, like and subscribe so you catch tomorrow's equally amazing story. The water climbs to my chin, and I tilt my head back, gasping, my mouth opening and closing like a fish drowning in air that doesn't exist anymore. My palms are bleeding, raw and torn from pounding on the elevator doors until the skin split open. The baby inside me thrashes violently, her tiny body somersaulting in panic, and I press one hand to my belly trying to calm her, trying to tell her we'll be okay even though I don't believe it. "Thessaly!" Drazen's voice tears through the metal shaft, raw and broken in a way I've never heard before. "Hold on, we're coming!" But I hear something else beneath his words. Guilt, horror, the realization that he did this. He triggered the automated flood system to drown the men from the gala, the ones who threw wine on me, who laughed while I bled dignity onto marble floors. He turned this entire building into a tomb, and he didn't know I was inside. The water reaches my bottom lip. I'm standing on my toes now, my pregnant belly pressed against the elevator wall, trying to buy myself another inch, another breath, another second. My lungs burn. The baby kicks again, weaker this time, and terror rips through me sharper than any blade. "Drazen!" I scream his name, but water fills my mouth, choking off the sound. I cough, sputter, my vision blurring at the edges. Metal screeches against metal somewhere above me. His men are cutting through security doors with emergency axes, but it's 17 floors of reinforced steel between us. The building was designed to be impenetrable. That was the point. That's why he chose it for an execution. The water covers my mouth. I press my lips together, breathe through my nose, tilting my head until my skull touches the elevator ceiling. 6 inches of air left, then 4, then 2. Through the crack in the elevator doors, I see shadows moving in the flooded hallway beyond. Drazen's men waist-deep in water, their flashlights cutting through the darkness like searchlights hunting for the dead. "She's here! 17 between 18!" someone shouts. "Move faster!" Drazen's voice is a roar of command and desperation. "If she dies, you all die!" 1 inch of air. I'm breathing in tiny sips now, my nose pressed against the ceiling grate, water lapping at my nostrils. The baby has stopped moving. No kicks, no somersaults, just terrifying stillness inside my belly. The elevator doors groan, pried apart by crowbars. Water rushes out, dropping the level by inches, and strong hands reach in, grabbing my arms, my shoulders, dragging me through the gap. I'm choking, vomiting water, my body limp and unresponsive. Drazen catches me as I collapse. His face is white, his eyes wild with fear I've never seen before. Not when he's faced rival families, not when he's stared down federal raids, not ever. Breathe, Thessaly, breathe. He's shaking me, tilting my head back, checking for a pulse at my throat. I try to speak, but nothing comes out. My lips are blue, my hands are ice. Everything is fading to gray at the edges, pulling me down into darkness that feels warm and safe compared to the cold terror of drowning. "Get the medic, now!" Drazen screams at his men. Someone presses on my chest, forcing water from my lungs. I cough violently, my body convulsing, and finally suck in a breath that feels like swallowing razor blades. Another breath, another. Drazen's hands move to my belly, pressing gently, desperately. "The baby," he whispers. "Is she?" But I can't answer. I was oxygen deprived for 3 minutes while 4 months pregnant. 3 minutes of my daughter drowning inside me, starved of everything she needed to survive. I don't know if she's still alive, and neither does he. "Get her out of here," Drazen says, his voice hollow. "Get them both out of here." They lift me onto a stretcher, and the last thing I see before unconsciousness takes me is my husband's face, a man who just realized his revenge might have murdered his own child. I wake to the sound of machines beeping and the smell of antiseptic mixed with something metallic, blood maybe, or fear. The ceiling above me is water-stained concrete, not hospital tiles. Exposed pipes run along the walls. This isn't a real hospital. "She's awake," a woman's voice, clinical and detached. "Vitals are stabilizing." I try to sit up, but my body won't cooperate. Every muscle feels like it's been shredded from the inside. My throat is raw, my lungs burning with each breath. I turn my head to the side, and that's when I see him. Drazen sits in a metal folding chair beside my bed, unshaven, his clothes still soaked from the flood, his eyes bloodshot and fixed on me, like he's afraid I'll disappear if he blinks. He hasn't slept. Maybe hasn't moved. 48 hours, someone said. He's been here 48 hours. Thessaly. My name comes out broken, like saying it hurts him physically. I don't respond. I can't look at him. Instead, my hand moves to my belly, pressing against the slight curve, searching for movement, for kicks, for any sign that she's still there. A doctor appears, older man, Eastern European accent, the kind of medical professional who asks no questions about bullet wounds or stab injuries. He wheels an ultrasound machine to my bedside, his expression carefully neutral. "We need to check the baby," he says quietly. Drazen leans forward, his hands gripping the edge of my bed so hard his knuckles turn white. The gel is cold on my stomach. The doctor moves the transducer slowly, methodically. And I watch the screen even though I don't understand what I'm seeing, just gray shadows and white flickers that could mean everything or nothing. Then I hear it, the heartbeat, fast and strong, filling the room like a promise. "Baby's alive," the doctor says. "But there are complications. Your lungs took significant damage from the water. Pneumonia risk is high. Oxygen deprivation during the incident may have affected fetal development. We'll need to monitor closely." Relief and terror crash through me in equal measure. She's alive, but for how long? And what damage did those 3 minutes of drowning cause? I still don't look at Drazen. Won't speak to him. Can't. "Thessaly, please," his voice cracks. "I didn't know you were there. I swear, I didn't know." "Get out!" My voice is barely a whisper, damaged from screaming underwater. "I called the 5 families meeting after the gala," he says, the words tumbling out like a confession he's been holding for 2 days. "What they did to you, throwing wine on you, humiliating you while you're pregnant." I couldn't let it stand. I authorized the flood. Automated system. Trap them inside, drown them all. It was supposed to be justice. It was supposed to protect you. Get out. I almost killed you. I almost killed our daughter. His hand reaches for mine, but I pull away. Thessaly, I'm sorry. The door to the medical facility explodes inward. Gunfire erupts through the Bronx warehouse, shattering the window above my bed. Glass rains down on us. Drazen throws his body over mine, shielding me and my belly as bullets shred through the walls. We're under attack! Someone shouts from the hallway. Multiple shooters, tactical gear. Drazen pulls a gun from his waistband, his face transforming from broken husband to lethal predator in seconds. Get her to the operating room. Lock it down. No one gets through. Two bodyguards rush in, unhooking my IV roughly, wheeling my bed at a run toward the back of the facility. I hear screaming, bone-breaking impacts, the wet sound of blades finding flesh. Someone leaked my location. Someone told them where to find me, and now they're here to finish what the drowning started. The operating room door slams shut behind me, and I hear the metallic click of the lock engaging. My two bodyguards position themselves on either side of the entrance, weapons drawn, their faces grim. I'm still hooked to monitors, the baby's heartbeat beeping steadily on the screen beside me, oblivious to the violence erupting just beyond these walls. Gunfire rattles through the warehouse like thunder. I hear men shouting in a language I don't recognize. Not Italian, not Russian. Professional, military. The kind of voices that belong to people who kill for money, not loyalty. Stay down, one of my bodyguards says. His name is Victor. He's been with Drazen for 15 years. We'll handle this, but the walls are thin. Bullets punch through drywall, leaving perfect circular holes that leak dust and insulation. I slide off the bed onto the floor, crouching beside it, one hand pressed to my belly. The baby kicks once, twice. She's agitated, sensing my racing heart. The door shudders as something heavy impacts it from outside. Once, twice, 3 times. Victor and the other guard, Alexei, tighten their grips on their weapons. How many? Alexei whispers into his radio. Static. Then Drazen's voice, breathless and furious. At least 12. Tactical formation. They're not here to rob us. They're here for her. The door splinters on the 4th impact. A boot crashes through, then a shoulder, and suddenly a man in black tactical gear is forcing his way inside. Victor fires 3 shots center mass. The man goes down, but 2 more push through behind him. Alexei takes a round to the chest. His body armor catches it, but the impact throws him backward into the wall. He fires on the way down, catching one mercenary in the throat. Blood sprays across the white tile floor in an arc that looks almost artistic. Victor is shouting, firing, backing toward me. The second mercenary moves with mechanical efficiency, combat training evident in every step. He shoots Victor twice, shoulder, then leg, dropping him to his knees. Then the mercenary turns to me. His weapon is raised, pointed directly at my pregnant belly. Not my head, not my chest, my baby. The execution order is clear. I'm frozen, my hands instinctively covering my stomach like flesh and bone could stop a bullet. Time stretches. I see his finger tightening on the trigger. I see the muzzle flash beginning. Then Drazen is there. He appears behind the mercenary like something conjured from nightmare, moving faster than should be possible for a man his size. His combat knife, 8 inches of blackened steel, drives upward into the base of the mercenary's skull, severing the spinal cord with surgical precision. The man drops instantly, his weapon clattering to the floor unfired. Drazen doesn't stop. He moves through the doorway like death incarnate, and I hear wet, brutal sounds. Flesh tearing, bones breaking, men screaming in ways that will haunt me forever. 4 mercenaries die in the hallway beyond my door. I know because I count the distinct thuds of bodies hitting concrete. Then silence, heavy breathing, footsteps approaching. Drazen appears in the doorway, his white shirt soaked red, his face splattered with blood that isn't his. He's holding a phone, taken from one of the dead mercenaries. Thessaly, he says, his voice steady despite the carnage. We need to move, now. But he's looking at the phone screen, his expression darkening with each second. What is it? I manage to ask, my voice shaking. He turns the phone toward me. I see a message thread, encrypted but decoded by whatever tech his people use. Contract details, payment confirmation, target specifications. Target: Thessaly Volkov, 47, 4 months pregnant. Objective: eliminate pregnancy. Client willing to pay premium for confirmation of termination. Payment: $5 million year USD. Client: Whitmore, J. Senator: Whitmore. The man whose building Drazen flooded. The man whose Gala humiliation started all of this. He hired private military contractors to kill my baby. There are 12 more, Drazen says quietly, his eyes meeting mine. Already en route to the house on Staten Island. They think you're supposed to be recovering there. We have maybe 30 minutes before they realize you're not. My hands tremble against my belly. The baby kicks, strong and alive, completely unaware that there are men being paid $5 million to stop her heart. Who leaked my location here? I ask. Drazen's jaw tightens. Someone inside my organization. Someone close enough to know where we'd take you. He pauses, and I see something dangerous flash across his face. Someone who's going to die very slowly when I find them. Victor groans from his position on the floor, still alive despite his wounds. Alexei isn't moving anymore. The mercenaries are scattered like broken dolls, their tactical gear soaked through with red. This is my life now. This is what it means to be pregnant in Drazen's world. Every moment is a countdown to the next attack, the next breach, the next group of trained killers trying to murder my daughter before she's even born. Can you walk? Drazen asks. I nod, even though I'm not sure. He helps me up, his hands gentle despite the blood coating them. As we step over bodies in the hallway, I see his men regrouping, 5 dead, 3 wounded, but the rest already preparing to evacuate. Where are we going? I ask. Somewhere they'll never find you. His arm wraps around my waist, supporting my weight. Somewhere I can kill every single person who threatened our daughter. We reach the exit, and that's when I see it. A black SUV parked in the alley outside, engine running, driver waiting. But something's wrong. Drazen sees it too. He pulls me back, raising his weapon. The driver's window is open. The man inside should be one of his, but the angle of his head is wrong. His eyes are too still. It's a trap, Drazen whispers. The SUV explodes. Staten Island looks like a fortress. The safe house sits on 3 acres of property surrounded by 12-foot walls, security cameras on every corner, and armed guards patrolling in shifts. It used to belong to a mob boss from the 80s, back when being untouchable actually meant something. Now I sit in a bedroom on the 2nd floor, watching those guards through bulletproof windows, and I don't feel safe at all. We barely escaped the warehouse explosion. Drazen's reflexes saved us. He threw me backward into the building seconds before the SUV detonated, taking out half the alley and 3 of his men who were too close. The driver was already dead when we saw him, throat cut, body positioned as bait. That was 6 hours ago. Since then, I haven't spoken. Not to Drazen, not to the doctors who examined me again, not to anyone. I just sit here, one hand on my belly, feeling the baby kick weakly. She's exhausted. So am I. The door opens. Drazen enters with his underboss, Constantine, a bear of a man with silver hair and cold eyes that have seen too many wars. Whitmore's disappeared, Constantine says without preamble. Chartered jet to Zurich this morning. We're tracking it, but he's got a 12-hour head start, probably fleeing to a country without extradition. Drazen stands by the window, his back to me, every muscle in his body radiating tension. And his daughter? Cordelia, still in Manhattan, Plaza Hotel penthouse, 12th floor. 6 private security guards. She thinks Daddy's money makes her untouchable. Something shifts in the room. Drazen turns to look at me, and I see murder in his eyes. Cold, calculated, inevitable. I want her brought here, tonight. I don't care how many witnesses. I don't care about exposure. Bring her to me. No, I hear myself say. Both men freeze. It's the first word I've spoken since the explosion. Drazen crosses the room, kneeling beside my chair. Thessaly, no! I repeat, and my voice sounds different. Flat. Empty. Like something inside me died in that elevator shaft, and what's left is just bones and revenge. I want her brought to me. His eyes widen slightly. He's searching my face for the woman he married, the one who negotiated hostage situations for the FBI, who believed in justice in process and the rule of law. That woman drowned 17 floors up in Whitmore Tower. You don't have to do this, he says quietly. Yes, I do. My hand presses harder against my belly. She threw wine on me while I was pregnant. She laughed while her father hired men to kill my baby. She needs to understand what drowning feels like. Constantine makes a sound that might be approval. Drazen just stares at me, seeing something broken and remade. Okay, he finally says. We'll bring her to you. They take Cordelia Whitmore in broad daylight outside Bergdorf Goodman, her arms full of shopping bags, her security detail scattered by a coordinated assault that lasts exactly 90 seconds. 50 witnesses with cell phones. Footage that will be all over social media within minutes. Drazen doesn't care anymore. That's what Senator Whitmore wanted, to make him reckless, to make him expose himself. Well, mission accomplished. They bring her to the safe house basement at 9 p.m. I hear her screaming from upstairs, hurling threats and insults, demanding lawyers and phone calls and all the protections that money usually buys. I descend the stairs slowly, still in my hospital gown, 4 months pregnant with a belly I can't hide anymore. The basement is concrete and shadows, a single bulb swinging from a chain. Cordelia is zip-tied to a chair, her designer clothes torn, her makeup smeared. She sees me, and her face twists with contempt. You stupid! I slap her, hard enough that her head snaps to the side, hard enough that my palm stings. Do you know what drowning feels like? I ask quietly. Her eyes go wide. What? Your father flooded a building to kill people. He nearly killed me. He nearly killed my daughter. I gesture to one of Drazen's men. He brings me a clear plastic bag. So, I'm going to teach you. The interrogation technique is called dry drowning. Plastic bag over the head, sealed at the neck, timed suffocation that mimics every sensation of drowning without water. You count the seconds. You watch them panic, thrash, their eyes rolling back. Then you release it, let them breathe, and start again. For 2 hours, I make Cordelia Whitmore drown in air. She breaks in 40 minutes, tells me everything between gasping sobs. The Gala humiliation wasn't random cruelty. It was calculated provocation. Her father worked with the FBI, setting up a RICO case against the 5 families. They needed Drazen to retaliate publicly, violently, to justify the prosecution. He said, she gasps, the bag off her head for the moment. He said your husband was too careful, needed to push him, make him do something indefensible. Like flooding a building, I say. Yes. She's crying now, mascara running. The FBI wanted him to commit terrorism, wanted it documented, but they didn't know you'd be inside. And the mercenaries? Daddy's insurance policy. If your husband killed you before the trial, case falls apart. But if you died from complications from the flood... Her voice trails off. I understand. If I died from injuries Drazen caused, it strengthens their case. But if I'm murdered by mercenaries, it's just gang violence. Muddies the waters. Senator Whitmore was willing to kill his own daughter's friend to destroy the 5 families. I look at Drazen, who's been standing in the shadows watching. His face is stone. The FBI has a task force, I say. They're coming, aren't they? Cordelia nods weakly. Raids scheduled for tomorrow, coordinated across all 5 boroughs. They're going to arrest everyone. Then we don't have much time. I turn to leave, but Cordelia speaks again, her voice broken. What are you going to do to me? I pause on the stairs. Keep you alive. You're going to testify against your father. You're going to tell a federal judge everything you just told me. And then you're going to disappear into witness protection and spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. Her sob echoes in the basement as I climb back toward the light. But the light doesn't last. Upstairs, I feel wetness between my legs. I look down and see blood spreading across my hospital gown. Too much blood. "Drazen!" I scream. Then everything goes black. I wake to the sound of helicopters. The rhythmic thump of rotor blades vibrates through the safe house walls, close enough that I can feel it in my chest. My hand immediately goes to my belly, searching for movement, for kicks, for any sign that she's still there. Nothing. "She's awake!" A doctor's voice, urgent but controlled. The same man from the warehouse facility. "Pulse is weak, blood pressure dropping." I force my eyes open. The room spins. I'm in the basement now, on a makeshift operating table, bright surgical lights burning overhead. There's an IV in my arm, monitors beeping, and blood, so much blood soaking through sheets beneath me. "The baby," I whisper. My throat feels like sandpaper. The doctor won't meet my eyes. That's when I know. "You're hemorrhaging," he says instead. "Going into premature labor, 22 weeks. The fetus is—" "Don't call her that." My voice breaks. "Her name is—" But I realize we never chose one. We were waiting until she was safe, until the danger passed. The danger never passes. Drazen appears beside me, his face gray, his hand gripping mine so hard it hurts. "Do whatever it takes," he tells the doctor. "Save them both." "I can't." The doctor's honesty is brutal. 22 weeks, the lungs aren't developed. Even if she survives the birth, she won't survive the night. Not here. Not without a NICU, without— "Then get those things," Drazen roars. "We can't. The FBI—" The doctor gestures upward, toward the sound of helicopters. "They've surrounded the property. Raids happening across Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens. Every family operation is burning. If we try to transport her, they'll arrest everyone. She'll die in federal custody." I watch Drazen's face contort with rage and helplessness. He's a man who controls empires, who makes politicians kneel, who turns buildings into tombs with a single phone call. And he can't save his daughter. Another contraction rips through me. I scream, arching off the table. The pain is white-hot, tearing me apart from the inside. "We're losing time," the doctor says. "Her body is rejecting the pregnancy. If we don't deliver now, she'll die too." Through the basement window, I see red and blue lights strobing against the walls. Federal vehicles, SWAT teams positioning. They're not just raiding operations, they're coming for Drazen, coming for all of us. "Do it," I whisper. "Deliver her." Drazen's hand tightens on mine. "Thessaly, I want to hold her before she dies." Tears stream down my face. "I want her to know I loved her. That's all I want." The next hour is a nightmare of pain and blood, and sounds I'll never unhear. The doctor works frantically, trying to stop the hemorrhaging, trying to keep me alive while my body expels a baby too small, too fragile, too early. I hear her before I see her. A tiny, weak cry that sounds more like a kitten than a human child. "It's a girl," the doctor says unnecessarily. They place her on my chest. She's impossibly small, barely 2 pounds, translucent skin, eyes fused shut, her whole body fitting in my 2 hands. She's not breathing right. Her chest struggles with each gasp, ribs visible through paper-thin skin. "Hello, my love," I whisper, my tears falling on her tiny head. "I'm your mama. I'm here. I'm so sorry I couldn't keep you safe." Drazen's hand covers both of us, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs. He's killed men, destroyed families, built an empire on violence and fear, and now he's breaking completely, holding a daughter who weighs less than a bag of sugar and won't live to see sunrise. She takes 8 minutes to die, 8 minutes of struggling breaths that get weaker and weaker until they finally stop. The silence is deafening. I feel the life leave her body, feel her go from warm to cool, feel everything that mattered drain away until I'm just holding a tiny shell that used to be my daughter. My screams echo through the safe house. They probably hear them upstairs, probably hear them outside where the FBI is setting up perimeters and preparing arrest warrants. I don't care. Let them hear. Let the whole world hear what they've done. Drazen tries to take her from me, but I won't let go. Can't let go. If I release her, she's really gone. If I keep holding her, maybe time will reverse. Maybe I'll wake up and still be 4 months pregnant and none of this will have happened. But time doesn't reverse. The monitors keep beeping, the helicopters keep circling, and my daughter keeps being dead in my arms. Ma'am, the doctor says gently, we need to get out. My voice is hollow, empty. Everyone get out. They leave me alone in the basement with my dead baby and my dead dreams. I sit there for hours, rocking her, singing lullabies she'll never hear, memorizing her tiny features before they take her away, and I never see her again. Upstairs, I hear shouting, federal agents announcing warrants, Drazen's men responding with defiance, the sound of handcuffs, of rights being read, of an empire crumbling. I don't move, don't care. Let them arrest everyone. Let them burn it all down. My daughter is dead because powerful men played games with our lives. Senator Whitmore wanted to destroy Drazen. Drazen wanted revenge for my humiliation. The FBI wanted a RICO case, and my baby girl paid the price for all their ambitions. When they finally come for me, federal agents in body armor, weapons drawn, I'm still holding her. They try to separate us, but I fight them, screaming, until Drazen's voice cuts through the chaos. Let her say goodbye. Even the FBI agents pause at his tone. They're not stupid. They know what he is, what he's capable of. And right now, in this moment, they're standing between a man who just lost his daughter and the body he wants to protect. They give me 5 more minutes. I kiss her forehead, her nose, her tiny fingers that never got to hold anything. I love you, I whisper, and I promise you, everyone who did this will pay. I'll make sure of it. Then I let them take her. They arrest me for conspiracy, accessory to attempted murder, a dozen other charges I don't hear because nothing matters anymore. Drazen is arrested separately, hauled out in chains while FBI agents read his rights. In the back of the federal vehicle, zip-tied and broken, I watch the safe house disappear behind us, and I start planning my revenge. Subscribe. This story is far from over. 3 days after my daughter dies, I sit in a dark room at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, staring at a wall and feeling nothing. They separated me from Drazen immediately. Federal policy. Keep co-conspirators isolated, prevent coordination, break them down individually. But there's nothing left to break. My lawyer visits, a woman named Patricia something, sent by the family, I assume, though I can't remember agreeing to representation. She talks about bail hearings and evidence suppression and plea deals. Her mouth moves, but I don't hear words, just noise. Mrs. Volkov, are you listening? I turn my head slowly. My daughter is dead. Patricia's expression softens, but only slightly. She's a professional. Sympathy doesn't win cases. I know, and I'm sorry, but we need to discuss. Get me to the funeral. My voice sounds foreign. That's all I want. Get me to my daughter's funeral. She hesitates. The Bureau isn't inclined to grant furlough for find a way. Something in my eyes makes her stop arguing. She nods and leaves. They approve it 24 hours later. Federal marshals will transport me under heavy guard, 2 hours maximum. Ankle monitor. No contact with Drazen, who's being held separately, and has also requested furlough. The Orthodox Church in Brighton Beach is small, cold, and filled with men in expensive suits who look like exactly what they are. Criminals pretending to be mourners. The 5 families sent representatives. Respect must be paid, even if the Volkov Empire is burning. I walk down the aisle in federal custody, ankle monitor hidden under black dress pants, marshals flanking me. At the front of the church sits a white casket, so small it looks like a toy. Inside is my daughter, my unnamed daughter. We never got to meet her, not really. Just 8 minutes of struggle and pain before she left. I feel eyes on me. Turn and see Drazen being led in from a side entrance, also in chains, also surrounded by marshals. He's aged 10 years, hollow eyes, gray stubble. The man who flooded a building for revenge now looks like he's drowning himself. Our eyes meet across the church. There are things I want to say, accusations, rage, blame. You did this. Your need for vengeance killed her. This is your fault. But when I look at his face, I see my own grief reflected back. He's already torturing himself more than I ever could. The service is brief. Orthodox prayers in languages I don't speak. Incense and candles, men who've murdered dozens crossing themselves and whispering supplications for a baby who never got to sin. At the graveside, they let me approach the casket. Just me, marshals keeping distance out of respect for the moment. I place my hand on the white wood, feeling the cold seep through. "I'm sorry," I whisper. "I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you." Drazen is allowed his moment next. He kneels, pressing his forehead against the casket, his shoulders shaking. I hear him whispering in Russian, prayers maybe, or promises. When they lower her into the ground, something inside me breaks differently than before. Not shattered glass, but forged steel, cold, hard, sharp. That night back in my cell, I tell the guard I need to speak to my husband. She laughs. Federal custody doesn't allow conjugal communication with co-defendants. Then I need my lawyer. Patricia arrives at midnight, annoyed but professional. "What is it?" "Tell Drazen I'm leaving him." Her pen stops moving. "Excuse me? I can't be with him anymore. After the trial, after whatever happens, I'm filing for divorce. Tell him." She stares at me. "Mrs. Volkov, emotions are high right now. You've suffered tremendous loss. Just tell him." She does. I know because 2 days later she returns with a message. "He says he understands. He won't fight it. He believes he deserves to lose you." Patricia pauses. "He also said to tell you he loves you, and he's sorry." I feel nothing hearing that. No anger, no sadness, just emptiness where emotions used to live. Then I lean forward. "Tell him I need one more thing before I go." "What?" "I need Senator Whitmore and everyone who attended that gala in a room where I can reach them." Patricia's eyes widen. She's smart enough to understand what I'm really asking. That's conspiracy to commit. Tell him." My voice is ice. "Tell him if he wants any chance of me staying, if he wants any possibility of forgiveness, he delivers them to me. All of them, so in a place where I can make them understand what they took from me." She's shaking her head. "I can't be part of—" "You're not. You're just delivering a message between spouses. Attorney-client privilege means you never heard this conversation." I smile, and it feels wrong on my face, like something broken trying to imitate joy. "So deliver it." She does. 3 days later, Patricia returns with Drazen's response. "Anything you want. I'll give you the world burning if that's what brings you peace." My plan begins that moment. But that night, alone in my cell, I don't know that an FBI informant embedded deep in Drazen's organization is sending encrypted messages to the federal task force. Volkov planning something, wife involved, unknown target, unknown date, believe mass casualty event imminent, recommend preemptive action. The manhunt intensifies, federal surveillance doubles, every communication is monitored, every visit recorded, every lawyer conversation potentially compromised. They're watching, waiting, trying to prevent whatever comes next. They have no idea it's already too late to stop me. The charges against me are dropped 6 weeks after the funeral. Not dismissed, dropped, completely. The federal prosecutor holds a press conference looking like someone forced him to eat glass, explaining that insufficient evidence and procedural irregularities make prosecution untenable. Translation: Drazen's people got to someone. A judge, a witness, evidence logs, money changed hands, or threats were made, or both. The system that was supposed to destroy us bent instead. Drazen remains in custody. His charges are bigger. harder to make disappear. But even from inside the MDC, he's still pulling strings. I walk out of federal detention into autumn sunlight that feels too bright, too warm for what I've become. Konstantin waits by a black sedan, his expression unreadable. Mrs. Volkov. Don't call me that. I slide into the back seat. Take me to Whitmore Tower. He hesitates. The building is closed, under repair from the flood. Won't reopen for months. I know. That's why I want to see it. We drive through Manhattan in silence. The tower looms ahead, 30 stories of glass and steel wrapped in construction scaffolding. Caution tape blocks the entrance. Engineers and contractors move through the lobby carrying equipment and clipboards. I study it through the car window, memorizing details. Floor plans form in my mind. Elevator shafts, stairwells, water systems, exit points. I spent 3 years as an FBI crisis negotiator. I know how to map buildings, identify vulnerabilities, plan operations. Buy it, I say. Konstantin turns. What? The building. Buy it through a shell corporation. Something untraceable to the family. Then hire contractors. Not our usual people, outsiders who don't know who I am. I want to oversee the renovations personally. Mrs. Vol... He stops himself. Ma'am, what are you planning? I meet his eyes in the rearview mirror. Drazen promised me everyone from the gala in one room. I'm choosing the room, and I'm making sure when they arrive, they can't leave until I'm finished. Understanding dawns on his face, horror mixed with something like respect. You'll go to prison for life, only if they survive to testify. I smile, and it feels like razors. Make it happen, Konstantin, or I'll find someone who will. He makes it happen. 2 months later, I stand in Whitmore Tower's mechanical room, wearing a hard hat and holding building schematics, surrounded by engineers who think I'm a consultant for the new ownership group, which I am, technically. Just not the kind they imagine. We've restored the fire suppression system, the lead engineer explains, pointing to massive water tanks. Pressurized lines running to every floor, state of the art. What happened during the flood won't happen again. Actually, I say, I want modifications. I explain what I want. Secondary pressurized lines routed to elevator shafts, stairwells, all exits. Automated blast doors that can seal floors individually. Override controls accessible from a single location. The engineer frowns. Why would you need that? It's a massive expense. And it doesn't meet any building code I know. Security purposes. I hand him a check with enough zeros to make his objections disappear. Make it happen quietly. No permits that would require city inspector approval. Just install it. He takes the money. They always take the money. Over the next 3 months, I visit the tower twice a week, watching the modifications take shape. Pressurized water lines hidden behind walls, blast doors disguised as decorative panels, a control room in the basement where I can activate everything with a single switch. I'm rebuilding my drowning chamber, making it perfect. Meanwhile, Drazen works from federal custody. He's negotiating a plea deal, reduced sentence in exchange for testimony against the other families. They think he's broken, desperate, willing to betray everyone to save himself. They're wrong. It's theater. Distraction while I prepare the real performance. Through Patricia, my lawyer, Drazen sends invitations to everyone who attended the original gala. But these aren't threats. They're apologies. In recognition of the tragedy at Whitmore Tower and to make amends for the suffering caused, you are cordially invited to the grand reopening ceremony, an evening of reconciliation and new beginnings, signed by a shell corporation. No mention of Drazen or me, just an elegant invitation to witness the resurrection of the building where it all went wrong. They'll come. Out of curiosity, out of relief that the Volkovs seem neutralized, out of morbid desire to see the scene of near-death transformed into something civilized again. They'll come because they think they won. The FBI learns about the gathering through their surveillance. I know because Patricia tells me they questioned her about it, trying to determine if it's a trap. What did you tell them? I ask. That it's a legitimate corporate event. New ownership trying to move past the scandal. Nothing criminal about it. She pauses. They're planning to attend anyway. Undercover agents, SWAT positioned outside. They think if Drazen's people make a move, they can arrest everyone at once. Perfect, I say. Perfect? Patricia looks at me like I've lost my mind. Maybe I have. The more people in the building, the better. She leans back. What are you going to do? Something Drazen taught me. Revenge isn't about killing your enemies. It's about making them feel what you felt, making them understand. I smile. They're going to understand what drowning feels like. Every single one of them. Patricia stands abruptly. I can't be part of this. I won't. Then don't. Resign as my lawyer. Walk away. Forget this conversation happened. I meet her eyes. But know that nothing you do will stop what's coming. The only question is whether you're complicit or ignorant. Choose. She chooses ignorant. Resigns the next day, citing irreconcilable differences with client. Smart woman. 3 days before the reopening ceremony, a building inspector makes an unscheduled visit. He's young, thorough, suspicious of the modifications he sees, pressurized lines that don't make sense, blast doors without proper permits. He pulls out his phone to report it. I nod to Constantine, who's been shadowing me for weeks. The inspector doesn't leave the building alive. His body is discovered 2 days later in the Hudson River. Apparent suicide, wallet and ID intact. No signs of foul play except to people who know what to look for. My first murder. Not ordered. Sanctioned. I didn't pull the trigger, but I approve the execution. It should bother me, should keep me awake, haunted by guilt. Instead, I sleep better than I have since my daughter died. The night before the ceremony, I stand alone in Whitmore Tower's grand ballroom, the same room where Cordelia threw wine on my pregnant belly, where 200 people laughed while I bled dignity onto marble floors. Tomorrow they return, all of them. Senator Whitmore, who hired mercenaries to kill my baby. His wife Cordelia, who tortured me for sport. Every guest who filmed my humiliation, who posted it online, who made me into entertainment. Tomorrow, they come back to the scene of their crime, and tomorrow, they learn what it means to drown. My phone buzzes. Text from an unknown number. FBI surveillance confirmed. SWAT teams positioned on surrounding buildings. They're watching everything. Good. Let them watch. Let them try to stop me. My hand moves to my stomach. Flat now. Empty. A grave where life used to grow. I press against it, feeling the absence, letting rage fill the hollow space. This is for you, I whisper to the daughter who never got a name. This is for every moment you didn't get to live, every breath they stole from you. Tomorrow, I take their breath away, and I won't give it back. Comment your predictions and subscribe. The grand ballroom glitters like a palace of lies. Crystal chandeliers refract golden light across 200 guests in designer gowns and tailored suits. The same people who attended the original gala, plus federal agents pretending to be socialites, plus 5 family representatives sent to witness whatever comes next. I watch them from the mezzanine control room, invisible behind one-way glass. Below, they sip champagne and murmur about the renovations, about how tasteful the rebuild is, about how tragedy can be transformed into beauty with enough money. They don't see the blast doors hidden in decorative wall panels. Don't notice the pressurized water lines behind crown molding. Don't understand that the ballroom has become a killing floor disguised as civilization. Senator Whitmore stands near the bar, older and grayer than 3 months ago, but still radiating arrogant power. His wife Cordelia, who I tortured in a basement, who told me everything, stands beside him, eyes darting nervously. She knows something is wrong, feels it, too late to run. Drazen appears in the control room doorway, and my breath catches. He's supposed to be in federal custody, but here he is, wearing a black suit, flanked by Constantine and 4 armed men. How did you? Plea deal included house arrest pending trial. I convinced them I needed to attend tonight for closure. His smile is wolves in winter. They have ankle monitor on me, tracking my location right now. Let them track. We stare at each other across 3 months of grief and blame and love turned toxic. You don't have to do this, he says quietly. Yes, I do. My hand moves to the control panel. They killed her. Every person in that room killed our daughter. And they're going to understand what they did. Thessaly, are you with me or not? I turn to face him fully. Because if you try to stop me, I'll go through you too. He studies my face, seeing something that makes him nod slowly. I'm with you. Always. Then watch. I activate the microphone connecting to the ballroom speaker system. My voice fills the room, stopping conversations mid-sentence. Good evening. For those who don't remember me, my name is Thessaly Volkov. 3 months ago in this room, you humiliated me while I was 4 months pregnant. You threw wine on me. You laughed. You filmed it. The crowd shifts nervously. Whispers multiply. Federal agents reach for hidden weapons. Shortly after, my husband flooded this building trying to kill the people who hurt me. I nearly drowned. And because of the stress, the oxygen deprivation, the trauma, I went into premature labor. My voice cracks, but I push through. My daughter lived for 8 minutes. I held her while she died. Silence. Heavy. Suffocating. Tonight, you're going to feel what she felt. What I felt. You're going to understand drowning. I flip the first switch. Blast doors drop from ceiling panels with thunderous booms, sealing every exit. Main doors, emergency stairwells, kitchen entrance, service corridors. The room is now a sealed chamber. Panic erupts. People pound on doors. Federal agents shout into radios. SWAT teams outside attempt breaching, but the doors are 6-inch steel, designed to withstand explosives. I flip the second switch. Water erupts from every wall vent, every ceiling sprinkler, every decorative fountain. Not gentle rain, pressurized floodwater from redirected municipal lines, hitting with fire hose force. Within 30 seconds, water pools ankle deep across marble floors. The screaming begins. People scramble onto tables, chairs, the bar. Gowns soak through, shoes float away. Chandeliers sway as water level rises. Knee-high, then thigh-high, then waist-high. Drazen stands beside me, watching his enemies drown in slow motion. His face is carved stone. Below, Senator Whitmore climbs onto the bar, shouting orders no one follows. Cordelia clings to a pillar, mascara streaming down her face. Federal agents fire shots at the blast doors uselessly. Bullets ricochet, hitting walls, ceiling, one agent in the shoulder. The water reaches chest height. Now they're swimming, thrashing, the weakest already going under. An elderly woman, someone's grandmother, someone who laughed while I bled, slips beneath the surface. Hands reach for her, but she's gone. Stop this! Drazen's hand grips my arm. You're killing them. You're actually killing them. That's the idea. No. His voice is hard. You're not a murderer, Thessaly. You're angry. You're grieving, but you're not this. You made me this! I spin on him. You flooded a building for revenge and taught me that violence is the only language they understand. So now I'm speaking it fluently. Don't pretend to have morals now. The water reaches their necks. People cling to chandeliers, to wall sconces, anything above the surface. Their screams echo off steel doors that won't open. I see Cordelia go under. Watch her thrash, resurface, gasp, go under again. This is what I felt. This terror. This helplessness. This certainty of death. Please. Drazen's voice breaks. You've made your point. They understand. Let them live. Why? My hand hovers over the control panel. They didn't let my daughter live. Because she wouldn't want this. His hands cut my face, forcing me to meet his eyes. Our daughter, if she could speak, if she could tell you what to do, she wouldn't want her mother to become a mass murderer. She'd want you to be better than them. Tears stream down my face, mixing with sweat and rage. The water reaches their chins. I look at Senator Whitmore, struggling to keep his head above surface. At Cordelia, who betrayed her father to save herself and will spend her life in witness protection. At 200 people who made one cruel choice and are paying for it with drowning terror. My daughter died for their cruelty. What does it solve if I kill them too? Everything. Nothing. I don't know anymore. My hand moves to the third switch, the one that drains the system. But before I can flip it, the control room door explodes inward. FBI breach team floods in, weapons raised, laser sights painting red dots across my chest. Hands up, now! Drazen steps in front of me. You shoot her, you shoot me. And if I go down, nobody's stopping that water. Standoff. 3 seconds that feel like centuries. Then I flip the switch. The water stops. Drainage systems activate. Within minutes, the level drops. Chest to waist to knees to ankles. People collapse on wet marble, coughing, sobbing, alive but destroyed. I raise my hands. I'm done. They arrest me and Drazen both. Again, federal agents reading rights while below. EMTs flood in to treat hypothermia, panic attacks, and one elderly woman who didn't resurface. One death. Not 200, just one. It's not enough revenge, but maybe it's enough justice. As they lead me out in handcuffs, I look back at the ballroom one last time, at the water-stained walls and traumatized survivors, and the space where my daughter's ghost will always linger. I'm sorry I couldn't save you, I whisper, but I made them understand. The federal agent pushing me forward pauses, just for a moment. For what it's worth, she says quietly, they deserved worse. Then she leads me into the night, toward a trial that will either destroy me or set me free. Either way, I'm already gone. The trial becomes a media spectacle. Every network covers it. Every social media platform explodes with opinions. Hashtags trend for weeks. #justice for Thessaly, #drown the rich, mafia wife monster. The prosecution presents me as a domestic terrorist. They show footage of the ballroom flooding, play audio of my voice over speakers, parade survivors who testify about trauma and near-death experiences. The elderly woman who died, Margaret Chen, 71, grandmother of 4, becomes their martyr. Her family sobs on the witness stand while the prosecutor points at me. This woman murdered an innocent grandmother because of a grudge. But then my defense attorney stands. A man named Roman Cask, expensive and ruthless, clearly sent by the families. Let's talk about what happened before the flooding, he says. Let's talk about the Gala. He plays the original video, the one that went viral 3 months ago. Me, 4 months pregnant, wine soaking through my dress. Cordelia Whitmore laughing, 200 guests filming, posting, making me into entertainment. The jury watches in silence. Then he calls witnesses, medical experts who explain premature labor, oxygen deprivation, fetal mortality at 22 weeks, a FBI psychiatrist who testifies about trauma responses and temporary insanity. Mrs. Volkov didn't plan a terrorist attack, Roman argues. She planned a lesson. She wanted the people who mocked her pregnancy to feel what she felt, and she stopped. She could have killed everyone in that room. Instead, she chose mercy. The prosecution fights back. They bring Senator Whitmore to the stand, broken, no longer arrogant, facing his own charges for hiring mercenaries. He admits his daughter provoked my husband, admits he weaponized my humiliation for a RICO case. But that doesn't justify attempted mass murder, the prosecutor insists. The trial drags on for 6 weeks. Every day I sit in court beside Drazen, who faces his own charges. We don't speak, don't touch. But there's an understanding between us now. We destroyed each other and rebuilt something darker from the wreckage. Then the breakthrough comes. Roman presents evidence obtained through anonymous sources, leaked FBI files showing the federal task force knew about the mercenary contract on my pregnancy, knew I was in danger, did nothing because my death would strengthen their RICO case against the families. The courtroom erupts. The FBI let Thessaly Volkov's baby die, Roman says, his voice cutting through the chaos. They had intelligence about threats against her life. They could have warned her, protected her, intervened. Instead, they used her as bait. And when their plan resulted in her daughter's death, they want to prosecute her for responding with grief-fueled rage. The prosecution tries to object, but the damage is done. Public opinion shifts violently. Social media campaigns explode. #FBI killed. Her baby, let Thessaly go, jury nullification. The jury deliberates for 4 days. When they return, the forewoman stands. On the charge of attempted murder, not guilty. On the charge of domestic terrorism, not guilty. On the charge of reckless endangerment resulting in death, guilty. The judge sentences me to time served plus probation, no prison, no further punishment. I walk out of federal court into camera flashes and shouting reporters. Drazen walks beside me, his plea deal finalized, reduced sentence, eligible for parole in 18 months. We're free, legally, at least. 6 months later, I stand in the Grand Athenaeum, the original gala venue where it all started. The families are hosting a celebration, consolidating power after the federal raids decimated leadership across all 5 organizations. I enter alone, wearing black, visibly pregnant again. 12 weeks, new baby, new beginning. The doctor said it was possible but risky after everything my body endured. I didn't care. I needed to try again. Needed to prove that death doesn't get the final word. The room falls silent as I walk through. Every person here knows what I did, what I'm capable of. They part like water, letting me pass. Drazen waits at the front of the room, released early on good behavior. That was actually just more bribes and threats. He looks healthier now, the gray fading from his hair, the hollowness gone from his eyes. "You're late," he says. "I'm pregnant. I'm always late." I take his offered hand. "How does it feel to be out?" "Like I can finally breathe." He glances at my belly. "How is she?" "Strong, healthy. The doctors say everything looks good this time." I pause. "I'm calling her Mara. It means bitter. It felt appropriate." He smiles sadly. "She'll hate that when she's older." "Then she'll change it. But she'll know her story. She'll know what we sacrificed to bring her into this world." The ceremony begins. Formal speeches about rebuilding, about unity, about the future of organized crime in New York. Politicians who survived my drowning party attend, carefully neutral, understanding that crossing the families is no longer wise. Senator Whitmore is conspicuously absent, arrested for conspiracy to commit murder, awaiting trial. Cordelia disappeared into witness protection, her testimony buying her life, but costing her identity. Everyone who attended the original gala treats me with fearful respect now. I'm no longer the outsider wife who didn't belong. I'm the woman who flooded a building and walked away free. I'm the queen who made Manhattan's elite kneel. During dinner, a woman approaches our table. Someone I don't recognize. Young, nervous. "Mrs. Volkov, I wanted to say, what they did to you was wrong. And what you did, it was terrifying, but also," she struggles for words, "also justified. Thank you for showing them that cruelty has consequences." She hurries away before I can respond. Drazen squeezes my hand. "You have supporters now, people who see you as some kind of avenging angel." "I'm not an angel. I'm just a woman who lost everything and decided to make them pay. That's what angels do, isn't it? Divine retribution." I laugh, bitter and sharp. If I'm an angel, I'm a fallen one. Later, we stand on the balcony overlooking Manhattan. City lights spread below us like stars, millions of lives unaware of the violence and grief that rebuilt this empire. My hand rests on my pregnant belly. Mara kicks, strong, insistent, demanding to be acknowledged. "Do you regret it?" Drazen asks quietly. "Any of it?" I think about the elevator filling with water, about my daughter dying in my arms, about 200 people drowning in controlled terror, about the woman I used to be, FBI negotiator, believer in justice and process and law, and the woman I've become. "I regret not drowning them all," I say finally. He kisses my temple, gentle despite everything we are. "You're terrifying now. You know that?" "Good. Fear keeps us safe." I turn to face him. Our daughter will grow up in a world that knows her mother is dangerous. No one will touch her. No one will mock her. No one will hurt her the way they hurt us. Because they're afraid. Because they're smart. I smile, and it feels real this time. We built an empire on water and blood. Let them remember why. Inside, the celebration continues. Politicians and criminals mingling, pretending civility while violence simmers beneath expensive suits and practiced smiles. We rejoin them, play our roles, accept congratulations and veiled threats disguised as compliments. And when someone mentions the reopening of Whitmore Tower, now owned by an anonymous shell corporation, available for private events, everyone grows quiet. They remember. They'll always remember. I should book it for Mara's baptism, I say lightly, since it holds such sentimental value. Nervous laughter ripples through the crowd. No one's sure if I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm never joking anymore. 3 months later, I give birth to a healthy daughter, 7 pounds, 10 ounces, screaming with rage at being pulled from warmth into cold light. She's perfect, alive, everything her sister never got to be. I hold Mara in the hospital room, a real hospital this time, no warehouse facilities or underground doctors, and whisper stories about the sister she'll never meet. You had a guardian angel before you were born, I tell her. She died so you could live, and I promise you, I'll never let anyone hurt you the way they hurt her. Drazen sits beside us, his hand covering both of mine. We're not the people we were a year ago. We're harder, colder, capable of terrible things. But we're together. We survived. We rebuilt. And in this city of water and blood, that's the closest thing to victory we'll ever know. 6 months after Mara's birth, I attend another gala at the Grand Athenaeum. She's home with guards who would die before letting harm reach her. I wear crimson, bold, deliberate, daring anyone to comment. When I enter, everyone stands, not out of respect, out of fear. I've become the monster they created, the woman who drowned their cruelty and emerged remade. And I'm perfectly happy being their nightmare, because nightmares protect what they love. And I love fiercely, violently, with a mother's rage that could flood the world. Let them remember that. Let them always remember. She lost everything and became everyone's nightmare. What did you think of Thessaly's transformation? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want more stories like this, subscribe. Your comments shape what comes next.